Hi, I'm Tali.
And I'm Connie, and today we're going to be debating Nicholas Carr's article called IT Doesn't Matter.
The main point of Carr's article is that he believes companies should treat IT as a commodity and should not be treated much differently than any other cost it seeks to minimize. He compares IT to other commoditized industries such as railroads and electricity. In addition, Carr believes that IT does not provide a competitive advantage, and as technologies become more and more available, they become ubiquitous and lose their strategic capabilities.
Although Carr argues the main points that Tali brings up, there are always two sides to an argument. In this case, I believe that technology can be used to a company's advantage and be a valuable resource rather than just be a necessary commodity.
Yes, Connie, that is a very valid point. However, IT has lost its ability to provide a competitive edge or strategic advantage for business growth and profitability at the company level. This is because IT has become affordable for all companies. It is a cost of doing business rather than providing a distinction.
Even though I agree with your point that IT has become affordable for all companies and a ubiquitous resource, it doesn't mean that it isn't valuable. I think that IT is way more valuable when it's shared. This relates to a topic that we talked about in class, which was advantages of information resources. We talked about network effects and how the value of a network increases when others join the network. For example, the more people that have emails, the more ubiquitous email becomes, but also the more valuable email becomes. Carr also gives the example of railroads becoming more valuable when shared by connecting more buyers. All of these examples show why companies adopting the same basic IT strategies can be a benefit.
Yes, I agree that IT can be valuable, but also a commodity at the same time.
I also disagree with your point that IT has lost its ability to provide a competitive edge. Companies can still use technology as an advantage if they are the first to adopt new technology or if they think of innovative ways to use technology that are hard to replicate. For example, Carr talks about how even though electricity was becoming commodified, some companies used electricity innovatively by replacing every machine with an electric motor rather than only using electricity as a replacement single-point source.
Yes. However, many companies rush to make investments in IT so that they don't fall behind. Most companies don't realize that the longer you wait to purchase IT, the more value you'll get from it because it is less risky and cheaper. So it is not an advantage to get it first. If you look at Walmart, they let their impatient competitors shoulder the high cost of experimentation and then they swept past them, spending less and getting more.
I do agree with your point that it might be cheaper to wait longer. However, companies like Apple, who have consistently been the first company to come out with new products and technologies, have developed great brand equity and brand identity by always having a reputation of being innovative. These companies can charge higher prices because consumers will be loyal to brands that they know will be consistently innovated with their technology. This provides Apple with a competitive advantage.
Looking at other examples, companies like American Hospital Supply implemented a new technology first, but this wasn't necessarily an advantage. They let hospitals order supplies automatically, and that was an advantage at first because it was more efficient to order things, and they were the only hospital with this technology. But then they lost their advantage when everybody got personal computers and could just order things for themselves.
I see now how technology can provide a competitive advantage by making an aggressive first move, and I can also see why waiting longer to purchase IT can also produce value. I guess it just depends on the company because Walmart and Apple are very different.
I'm glad we can both understand each other's point of views. Another point that Carr brings up that I think is important to note is that IT should focus on reducing risks, not increasing opportunities. Companies need to focus on ensuring network and data security. They also need to manage IT costs more aggressively. Many companies waste memory and money storing useless things like old emails, music, and spam. I don't think that IT will help you gain a strategic advantage, but it could easily put you at a cost disadvantage.
I do agree that companies should always focus on network and data security, and that many costs could be reduced by using IT more efficiently. I think that Tali has mentioned many good points that Carr brings up in his article, but I also think that I've brought up points that are equally valuable.
IT may be a commodity, but it still provides value to companies, and IT can be a competitive advantage by acting aggressively, or it could also be an advantage to wait for other companies to make the first move, depending on the type of company it is. Carr's article provides us with valuable input about IT and how it has evolved. Nevertheless, his opinions aren't universally accepted. Another point that Carr brings up is that
what just happened? you stopped crying more efficiently. I think that Tali has mentioned many good points. Why would you do that to me?